Coliseum watching Pat Hayden.
That was a long time ago. Long time ago.
Out of the shotgun. They come left side. Rob Moore makes the grab, and that should be enough to move the chain.
One thing about this Cardinal offense.
That's close.
When they find something that works, they go back to it. We saw in the preseason 3 times now they have run that hook route to Rob Moore. And 3 times against Derek Frazier, he has been open. Now, you can't work on Mark McMillan, but you come back to the other side on Derek Frazier and you run the hook route, and they've done it 3 times in the first half.
Rob Moore now with 3 catches for 29 yards. That is good for a first down at the 32.
Vern, this really has been a defensive game. No real rhythm offensively yet by either team.
Game marked by injuries, 2 to key players on both sides. The handoff left side to Garrison Hurst. And he moves across the negative, the 0 barrier now.
Yeah, you know, I think to play in the NFL and certainly the NFC East, you need to be an offensive team that is able to put together 8, 10, 12 play drives at critical times in particular. And neither offense has been able to show that thus far this year, but that's where the Cardinals want to be. And they want Garrison Hurst to be a legitimate running threat, something they haven't had here really since Terry Metcalf.
And here goes William Thomas. Only Craig can stop him. Touchdown.
Boy. This has been an ugly offensive game. Ray Rhodes said to us yesterday, William Thomas has to step up and make some plays. Did not play well last week against Tampa Bay. And Dave Craig cannot believe it. There's 2 interceptions in the first half. Again, there have been some athletic interceptions by the linebackers of the Eagles. One by Romanowski that stopped the drive, and then one by William Thomas that results in a touchdown.
Well, Romanowski got his 5th career interception in the first quarter. William Thomas gets his 6th. It's good for 6 points. Here's the extra point by Gary Anderson. And in a defensive-oriented game, it's appropriate, I think. And that defense scores first.
You're right. And that is a good athletic play because he really shouldn't have been able to catch that one. The ball was thrown well and hard, but a very athletic play by Thomas in Philadelphia.
90 seconds, and Dave Craig has spent the time cursing himself and the result of the pass.
Well, Vern, we've mentioned it. He can be streaky, he can be hot, and he can be cold. And he can be hot and cold in the same game. And he's thrown a couple of nice passes, but the 2 interceptions and that one to William Thomas really made a good catch. Leads in the Philadelphia touchdown.
Here's the kickoff. And it's taken by Ryan Terry. He's got some room. Oh, man, at the 40-yard line. Terry with an ankle tackle. And we're going to see another quarterback change.
This is unbelievable.
This is really unbelievable. Here is Mike Buck, the backup quarterback for Buddy Ryan, and Ryan has pulled the plug on Dave Craig.
And Craig was arguing with the offensive coordinator, Dave Adkins. You have Dave Craig in his 16th year who's been benched tonight. You have Randall Cunningham in his 11th year that has been benched tonight. And we're still in the first half.
Mike Buck, 4 years in New Orleans. He did not play in the league last year after he was released by the Saints. This is the 9th game of his career. And on first down.
And you look at Mike Buck, I am just so surprised at backup quarterbacks in the National Football League and how many of them don't have any starts. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 teams. See how many rookies, Todd Collins and Eric Sider at the Browns. And then Mike Buck, who's out of the game completely last year. And this is an NFL team, and he's the backup quarterback.
And Mike Buck, who is 34 of 60 in his career, is about to throw his first pass for the Cardinals. Oh, it's almost picked off.
Oh, boy.
This is getting ugly.
It's ugly. It is ugly. It's already ugly. Again, this pass was not well thrown. He did have a guy open. He rushed it. was trying to hit his tight end Gaines, and really the guy wide open was Michael Zordich, the strong safety for the Eagles. He should have caught it.
We didn't expect a Monet tonight, but we were hoping for something better than Grandma Moses. Third and 13. Mike Buck. Incomplete. Felt the pressure from the backside. Mike Mamula.
Now, one of those matchups you talked about, Boone. Mike Mamula, number 59 for the Eagles against 65. Ernest Dye, the left tackle for the Cardinals. This is just a speed rush off the corner. Didn't knock him down or sack him, but he let Mike Buck be known that there's going to be some pressure off the corner from Mike Mamula. Boy, this is incredible in the second week, I think.
Columnists will have things to talk about and write about. Here's Calvin Martin out of bounds at the 27-yard line.
You know, Vern, it really does surprise me in the state of the NFL. I mean, we talked about not a lot of great starting quarterbacks, but the difference between starters and backup quarterbacks. There is a huge gap around the National Football League in the levels of abilities between starters and backup guys. You need to have a guy like Rodney Peete. He's an established guy who has won in the National Football League. You need to have at least two guys who can do that. Otherwise, you have no chance, absolutely no chance of making the playoffs.
First down and 10. Rodney Peete still in the quarterback. Blitz coming. Peete goes left, incomplete, intended for Calvin Williams. This may be the third quarterback.
Here he comes.
This guy. He was cut by a Canadian League team and thought, well, there may be a spot down there in the desert.
Well, when you're a quarterback in this situation, Rodney Peete and Mike Buck, you don't lose the game. You don't turn the ball over. You run the football. You hope the defense plays well enough to win it for you.
Charlie Garner in the running back. He gets the handoff and comes to his left, cuts it back inside out near the 29-yard line.
Charlie Garner is a guy who runs with balance. I mean, you're going to see number 30. I mean, he's going to get stopped early. He slips, puts the right hand down. One of those guys that can make something good out of virtually nothing. You know, they worry about his durability because he's only 187 pounds, but he may be the toughest little runner in the league. I'm not talking about third down backs, but I'm talking about first and second down backs. He's a tough guy.
On third downs, Philadelphia is only 1 of 5, and they are going to have to use a timeout here. Philadelphia 7-0 over Arizona. Coming up on the Fruit of the Loom halftime report, Vince Cellini has the no-huddle highlights, a fast-paced look at the big plays of the day. And Craig Sager will be live with the Cowboys owner Jerry Jones. I guess there was some kind of news out of Dallas.
Yeah, I heard some about that today. All day, all week, all month.
Shakespeare wrote a play about that, didn't he?
I may have.
And it wasn't The Taming of the Shrew. Anyway, that's coming up at the Fruit of the Loom halftime report.
These are two offensive teams that are really struggling in week 2 of the NFL season. I mean, neither one of the offenses played well in week 1. And the struggle continues. And you just try to get through it a game like this, Vern. You know, you don't make silly mistakes. You don't throw the interceptions. You don't get sacked. You let your defense keep the game close, and hope your defense and special teams are going to win it for you.
3rd and 5. Blitz threatened again by the Cardinals. Here's Peete into the left flank. Incomplete. Kwame Lassiter covers Ricky Waters out of the backfield.
Adam, he was open. And Rodney Peete knows it. I mean, Ricky Waters, for all his faults, he is a very good receiver out of the backfield. And remember, Steve Young this summer was saying to us, hey, we can replace his running, we think. But the downfield receptions that Ricky Waters gave us last year, we don't think we can replace those.
66 catches with the 49ers last week. Anthony Edwards, or last year, rather. Anthony Edwards to return Tommy Hutton's punt. At the 20. Now at the And Anthony Edwards, who missed all of last season with reconstructive surgery on his knee, with a fine return to the 33-yard line.
Hey, the Cardinals' return game has been pretty good tonight. Both the kickoff return, we've seen Brian Terry return some, and Anthony Edwards there in the punt return.
Mike Buck grew up in Long Island, and he played collegiately for the Bears of Maine. As we said, 4 years with the New Orleans Saints, and in those 4 years, he played in 8 games. Out of football last year. First and 10. Across the middle, and Buck completes his first pass as a Cardinal to Larry Centers, number 37.
There's old Kurt Govea making the stop on him, a middle linebacker for the Eagles, and the only player in the National Football League that has all 5 vowels used in his name. This next Christmas time, and you're at one of those parties, you want to do this. A-E-I-O-U, all 5 vowels.
I missed you last night at dinner. You were doing your research.
Yeah.
Second down. Romanowski almost had his second pick of the afternoon. Bill Romanowski almost equaled William Thomas with a defensive touchdown.
Emmett Thomas, the defensive coordinator of the Eagles, has done a great job of getting his defensive team ready for this Cardinal offense. This was a late throw, and the late throw allowed Bill Romanowski to make up some ground. He should have caught it. I mean, the one he intercepted was a much tougher catch.
3rd and 5, 7-0 Philadelphia with the lead on the William Thomas interception for a TD. Cardinals are 1 of 5 on 3rd down so far.
And Mike Buck just can't turn the ball over. And his defense has scored touchdowns over the years. The Cardinal defense is known for scoring touchdowns. Just don't turn it over.
Stunts by the defensive line. Buck is cut as he lets it go. And the catch is made by Frank Sanders. Oh, boy. A courageous throw by Mike Buck.
Under duress, and a nice adjustment by Frank Sanders. Good rush. Ronnie Dixon, number 90, on a little stunt upside, comes cleanly, and he hangs in there. I mean, that's a good play by Mike Buck. And then the adjustment at the other end by Sanders, and he keeps both feet in. That's a good offensive play by the Cardinals. The best of the evening, really.
28-yard gain, longest of the evening. Frank Sanders, who had only 1 catch last week, gets his first grab tonight. He's a second-round draft pick out of Auburn.
Now they got to get Garrison Hurst going. This is when they need to run a game to make something happen.
Hurst, 6 carries, 1 yard. Down to the 30-yard line. Gain of 3, maybe 4.
Give it to him again. Give him another chance. I mean, running backs need to get into a flow, into a rhythm, and you got to give him a chance. And Garrison Hurst, they think, it hasn't been proven yet, is the kind of guy that, you know, can give you a 2-yard run, a 3-yard run, and then he can give you a 30-yard run.
Garrison Hurst, the number 1 draft pick in 1993, and the 3rd player chosen in the draft, had a protracted contract holdout that first year, and then got hurt toward the end of the season. It cost him the last half of that year and the first half of last year. Here's the toss to Hurst. Good bit of running. Knocked down at the 24.
You're right. That is a good bit of running. I mean, that's a tough run. You know Garrison Hurst has the speed to be an outside runner. And last week, he proved that he could be a tough inside runner. Kurt Govea, the middle linebacker, gets a pretty good shot at him. But he bounces off him. He doesn't give him a big target. He kind of gives him a little hip, then takes it away, uses some leverage right there, and keeps the balance with the left hand. I mean, that's a heck of a run. It's only a 4 or 5 yard run, but that's a good 4 or 5 yard run.
3rd and officially a yard. 7-0 the score. We're nearing the 2-minute warning. And the Cardinals will go with their power set now. 2 tight ends. Actually 3, and we've reached the 2-minute warning. Nope.
You call timeout.
Call timeout.
Okay, no, that's not a bad use of a timeout. No, you don't want confusion on 3rd and short.
Play clock down to 2 seconds, so Mike Buck signals the timeout with 2:02 remaining in the first half of play. Well, next Sunday night, Pat and I are going to move this whole operation north.
Here we go.
Coors Light Pro Football tonight, next Sunday at 7 o'clock, and then we're going to enjoy the Cowboys and the Vikings.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. Well, did Emmett have a good Monday night game? Oh, man. Scored again today.